Welcome back, everyone. Today we dive into a breaking and explosive story that has the entire NFL world talking and Dallas Cowboys fans absolutely stunned. What started as whispers behind the scenes has now erupted into full-blown headlines, with Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons reportedly locked in a war of words, power, and philosophy that could define the Cowboys' future. To make matters even more dramatic, Michael Irvin, the legendary Hall of Famer and Cowboys icon, dropped a bombshell in a new interview that has sent shockwaves through Dallas and beyond. This isn't just about locker room tension or contract disputes. This feels much bigger, like a clash of egos and vision that threatens to fracture America's team right in the middle of one of the most crucial windows for success in recent memory. For years, Jerry Jones has been the face and voice of the Dallas Cowboys. No owner in professional sports is as outspoken, as visible, or as influential as Jerry. He doesn't just sign the checks. He makes the headlines, takes center stage in the spotlight, and often overshadows even his own players and coaches. Cowboys fans know this all too well. Jerry loves the attention, the drama, the cameras, and the power of being the man who controls the franchise's destiny. But what happens when one of your young superstars, arguably the most talented defensive player in the NFL today, starts pushing back? What happens when a player like Micah Parsons, known for his passion, intensity, and raw honesty, refuses to play the quiet role that Jerry seems to demand? That's exactly what's happening now, and it has created the kind of firestorm no one could have predicted. Micah Parsons has never been afraid to speak his mind. Since being drafted by the Cowboys, he has embraced not only being the face of the defense, but being a voice for the team as a whole. He has openly called out his teammates when he felt the effort wasn't there. He has questioned the coaching staff's game plans. And most importantly, he has put immense pressure on the organization to match his own ambition to win a Super Bowl. Parsons is the type of player who doesn't settle for excuses. He wants championships. He wants greatness. And when he feels like the Cowboys' leadership isn't doing enough, he says so. That is where the collision course with Jerry Jones truly began. The reports suggest that Parsons has grown increasingly frustrated with the way Jerry Jones handles both roster decisions and public narratives. Jerry loves to talk, whether it's on the radio, during press conferences, or in spontaneous hallway interviews with reporters. But some of the things Jerry has said about the team, about Parsons, and about expectations this season have apparently rubbed the star linebacker the wrong way. Instead of feeling supported and empowered, Parsons feels like he's being used as a marketing tool, as a soundbite generator, as a face for the franchise without getting the respect he feels he deserves inside the building. That frustration reportedly boiled over in private meetings, and according to those close to the situation, Parsons didn't hold back when voicing his displeasure to Jerry. And then came Michael Irvin. The timing could not have been more dramatic. Irvin, a man who knows all about playing for the Cowboys under Jerry Jones, went public with his thoughts in a new interview that is sending shockwaves through the fanbase. Irvin revealed that he had spoken to people close to the team and suggested that the tension between Jerry and Micah is not just a small disagreement, it's a full-blown war. He described it as a power struggle inside the organization, something that could have ripple effects not just this season but for years to come. When Michael Irvin talks, Cowboys Nation listens, because this is a man who has lived through both the glory days and the controversies of Jerry's reign. Irvin's words carried weight because he framed the situation as something deeper than football. He suggested that Jerry Jones, as much as he loves his players, has always struggled to share the spotlight. And with a superstar like Micah Parsons, who not only dominates on the field but commands attention off of it, Jerry feels threatened. Irvin hinted that Jerry may see Parsons not just as a player but as a challenge to his authority, a potential voice that could rival his own in the court of public opinion. If true, that's a dangerous dynamic. The Cowboys are supposed to be focused on winning games, not waging internal battles between owner and star defender. Yet here we are, with the tension spilling into public view. The Cowboys fan base is deeply divided over this news. Some fans side with Micah Parsons, believing that he has every right to demand more from the organization. They see a young star who is tired of waiting, tired of falling short in the playoffs, and tired of hearing excuses. For these fans, Parsons represents the hunger and fire that the Cowboys have been missing for decades. On the other side, you have fans who believe no player, no matter how talented, should be allowed to clash with Jerry Jones in this way. They argue that Jerry built this franchise into the global brand it is today, and that Parsons needs to focus on football, not challenging ownership. That divide is only making the drama louder and more intense. From a football standpoint, the timing of this feud could not be worse. The Cowboys are entering a season with enormous expectations. The defense, led by Parsons, is supposed to be one of the most dominant units in the NFL. The offense has question marks, but with Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and an improved offensive line, the window for a deep playoff run is right now. The last thing the Cowboys need is internal dysfunction at the very top. Yet dysfunction is exactly what has plagued this franchise for nearly 3 decades since their last Super Bowl. Every time it feels like the Cowboys are on the verge of breaking through, something behind the scenes seems to derail them. Could this Parsons-Jerry Jones war be the latest chapter in that tragic cycle? There are even whispers that this feud could have contract implications. Micah Parsons is nearing the point in his career where he will demand a massive extension, likely one of the largest contracts ever given to a defensive player. If Jerry Jones feels like Parsons is challenging his authority, could that impact negotiations? Could we actually see a scenario where the Cowboys, America's team, hesitate to pay or even consider moving on from one of the most dominant defenders in the league? That sounds unthinkable, but the NFL is a business, and egos often make business decisions even more complicated. Jerry has always prided himself on being the man in control. If he feels like Parsons is a threat to that, nothing can be ruled out. Meanwhile, Michael Irvin's comments continue to stir the pot. He didn't just report what he heard, he added his own personal perspective, saying that if the Cowboys don't get this situation under control, it could destroy the locker room. Irvin knows firsthand how fragile team chemistry can be. Back in the 90s, despite their immense talent, the Cowboys often flirted with chaos. But the difference back then was that the chaos usually came from players, not from an open battle between a player and the owner. Irvin's warning is clear: if Jerry and Parsons don't resolve their differences, the fallout could infect the entire team and ruin a season that has so much potential. What's fascinating is how public this has become so quickly. In the modern NFL, star players have massive platforms through social media, podcasts, and interviews. Parsons has already shown he's willing to speak his mind to the public, and Jerry has never been one to hold back in front of a microphone. That means this feud won't just be contained behind closed doors. Every press conference, every interview, every soundbite has the potential to escalate things further. And with Michael Irvin now adding fuel to the fire, this story isn't going away anytime soon. So where does this leave the Cowboys? They have 2 paths forward. 1, they can confront this issue head-on, get Jerry and Parsons in the same room, and hash out their differences for the good of the team. That would require compromise, humility, and a willingness from Jerry to share some of the spotlight, a tall order for a man who has built his entire legacy on being larger than life. The other path is denial. They can pretend everything is fine, downplay the tension, and hope that winning games will make everyone forget about the drama. But as history has shown, ignoring problems in Dallas usually makes them worse, not better. This is more than just a storyline for gossip. This is about the identity of the Cowboys moving forward. Are they Jerry Jones' team first and foremost, or are they a modern NFL franchise where star players like Micah Parsons have a true voice in shaping the future? That's the fundamental question at the heart of this war. And as Michael Irvin pointed out, the answer could determine whether the Cowboys finally end their Super Bowl drought, or whether they continue to be the league's biggest underachievers. For now, all eyes are on Dallas. Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons are two of the most powerful figures in the NFL today, and their relationship is under the microscope like never before. Will they resolve their issues and unite for a championship push, or will their war become the latest example of how ego and dysfunction can tear down even the most talented teams? One thing is certain: this story isn't going away, and the entire football world will be watching every move, every word, and every sideline interaction between Jerry and Parsons this season. Thanks for watching, and if you're just as shocked by this Cowboys drama as we are, make sure to hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for all the latest breaking updates. This is going to be one of the most explosive storylines in the NFL this year, and we'll be here to cover every twist and turn.